chances to the second, and the second half the same. And the first half, maybe some minute we struggled a little defensively, some action, but the second half I think we controlled that. And after only was to do the second goal for do the difference and can take the result for us. But their goal also give them chances, and defensively after they worked well, and we tried to do the second goal, but we couldn't.
You did make substitutions late on in the game. Do you think your team got complacent at times today?
We tried all, and we know it was going to be difficult, and really that's happened. And now our focus is the Europa League against Valencia Thursday, and the focus for 100% in this match.
Arsenal have now conceded 50 goals this season in the Premier League. It's the second successive season they've conceded 50 goals. The last time that happened was the 82 to 84 seasons. Has that got to be the first area you address and look to improving in the transfer window this season?
Now is the moment to speak about this match, about the match Thursday, and after all the analysis, when it's finished in the season, we can do.
Okay, 50 goals conceded. You will be looking to improve your defence in the summer, surely?
But the analysis we are going to do with the club, but not now. I think it's going to finish, and also we can speak about all the situation of the season, defensively, offensively, with all the situation we can improve.
Okay, so you need an 8-goal swing now if you are going to qualify for the Champions League. Do you accept now that your Champions League chances of qualifying through the Premier League are over now, and you need to focus all your attention on the Europa League there?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you.
You're coming down to one game is one bad result and it's all over, your season's over. Arsenal don't travel well, but they take a 2-goal advantage to Spain. You'd like to think that they've got the ability to defend that advantage, and then the whole season depends on the Europa League final. But I don't think they've deserved to be in the top 4 from this year's 37 games so far.
He's done a great job, Unai Emery, to take them where they are. And I think that's largely because of the firepower they have at their disposal. Now, you need to give him a few windows. We can't judge him yet. He needs a few windows. He needs an opportunity to spend some money and to let his recruitment and try and address the problems what they have, because the problems all lie at the back.
OK, so let's remind you what has happened today in the Premier League. Very significant, all those results. Chelsea 3-0 at home to Watford, all the goals in the second half. Before Arsenal kicked off, that is as good as in the Champions League, certainly 1 foot. Now they are definitely in the top 4, and Manchester United definitely aren't after they failed to win away at the bottom club Huddersfield, having taken the lead in that game through Scott McTominay. Arsenal took the lead and we're taking it till the final day, until that equaliser from Glenn Murray from the penalty spot for Brighton. So mathematically, with that 8-goal difference, they won't be in the top 4 next season. 1 game remaining of this penultimate Premier League weekend, and what a game. It is tomorrow at the Etihad. Remember, Manchester City have to win it against Leicester to have the title destiny in their own hands going into the final day. A draw or a defeat would mean it would be Liverpool who control the situation. They're at home to Wolves, remember, on the final day. And just as a slight subplot, Manchester City are away at Brighton, and we've just seen the level of performance that Chris Hughton's team provided against Arsenal. Confirmation Chelsea definitely in the top 4, and Spurs with that 8-goal difference advantage will be joining them as well. Arsenal and Manchester United left to play in the Europa League, as will Wolves, incidentally, if Manchester City win the FA Cup. Brighton were safe anyway. They've got another point to their total, 36 points. Cardiff relegated yesterday after that defeat at home to Crystal Palace. But it was all smiles in the first half. Increases the pressure on the Europa League semi-final second leg. 3-1 up away in Spain against Valencia this week. Now, it was going so well at 1-0. What was Xhaka doing for the equaliser, Tim?
No idea. I mean, he's trying to do what's best for his side. I mean, that is a poor pass from Mkhitaryan, and he tries his best to get there. If you look at Xhaka here, he wants to get across. He wants to help his teammate. Solly Marsh carries the ball forward. Look at him bursting. But once he's in the office there, once he's in the office, I mean, the penalty area, you cannot touch him. You cannot touch him. You've got people on the cover. He cannot do this. That is just irresponsible. I just can't find any other word apart from that, Michael, to say about that man.
Yeah, you can see his knee clips the trailing leg, and it's a definite penalty, and you can tell because straight away, look at him. He knows, he doesn't even argue with the referee. It's a yellow card, it's a penalty, and it's Brighton back in the game.
And you know what Glenn Murray's going to do? He's so reliable from that situation, don't he?
Yes, it was a good penalty under pressure. Goalkeeper didn't really move, you see, he's still standing.
One big chance stands out for Aubameyang.
Yeah.
And when you look back at how the game has ended up, how big it was and how pivotal it was.
Yeah, I mean, they kept plugging away, and when this falls to him, probably Lacazette was the only person I would want other than Aubameyang, but there's nothing to split between the pair of them, and he tries to scissor that. I'm not sure he has to take it with that technique, Michael.
No, there's lots of options there. You either let it come right across your body and almost hit it with the inside of your right foot, or you take it early and go with your left foot. That was probably the hardest of the options, and he actually hit it really well. It's the wrong side of the post.
What about that clearance there? Beats Matty Ryan there. Lacazette turns on his left foot. He drew an airy Duffy with a big boot, just clears it away. Time and time again, they've done that for Brighton all season. That is why Brighton are staying in the Premier League.
We saw Newcastle yesterday with their attitude against Liverpool. Brighton actually could have won it, couldn't they? The way the second half went.
Well, in the last couple of minutes, there was breakaway chances galore with a correct pass, and it would have been, maybe a 2-1 victory for Brighton, a smash and grab at the end. But they did have a few chances. This is a great header, great save. I want to say that's an absolute sitter, but it's not as easy as it looks. It's on you. You're expecting to score.
Yeah,
right?
you're going to take
people,
that.
It is a chance. Don't get me wrong, but it's. I can see why he's missed, but not by that far. I mean, it was. I think it was the decision of how to hit it, because you saw it almost ended up back on the halfway line, the way the shape of the ball. So.
He can carry a threat, but also be very, very tight and solid with the defenders what they've got. I mean, Matty Ryan and them two centre halves, fantastic.
You say the goal helped the game. Brighton were a little unfortunate to concede the penalty in the first place, weren't they? Their 10th penalty they've conceded this season.
I thought so. I didn't think it was a penalty. Monreal, I thought, was going down. When we look at the replay, I mean, I think the Brighton defender here gets a touch on it. And when you look at it closely, watch Monreal's left leg. He's dragging it before there's even any touch. I mean, he's going down. Watch, dragging, and he just goes down. He's playing for the penalty, all right. Yeah. And when you look at it closely, I think that comes off the Brighton boot as well. Knocks it into the ground. No penalty for me.
But irrespective of who hits it first, Michael, there's no contact, is there? So he shouldn't be going down. He does. He buys his team a penalty, and there's never any doubt where that's going to end up. Aubameyang, 20th goal of the season. And I thought he would add to that, and he didn't do it.
Tale of two penalties. You mentioned Brighton's attitude there. You've got Brighton today, you've got Newcastle last night, Bournemouth even against Tottenham. That just shows you about the Premier League, doesn't it?
Yeah, you could add Crystal Palace away at Cardiff, having nothing to play for. It does show you about the Premier League, integrity, honesty. The players, are desperate to do well no matter what. And it'll be really, really interesting now, when Brighton still got nothing to play for, what happens against in their last game, because obviously they've got no small matter in Manchester City.
Depending on what happens with Leicester, Wolves could be safely in 7th as well, going to Anfield.
And Wolves are a threat. They do play nice and solid, but they have Jota and Jimenez, and they have flair going forward. And there's two ways to look at it. The teams who are playing at the top of the division, they should be delighted that they're at big clubs. The teams like Brighton and the Wolves and the Watfords of this world, they all want to play for bigger teams in the Premier League, so they're showcasing themselves all the time. It's a shop window for them. So you're always going to play with pride. They're always going to play with the integrity, and I think that's what we've seen over the last few days. This league is the best league in the world. It's the most honest league in the world, and that's what we're seeing. Every single game, you have to play correctly. Huddersfield today, already relegated, beating a giant club like Manchester United or drawing. It's a magnificent result for them, but no one give them a chance. But all them players want to be back in the Premier League. They're in a shop window. So they want an opportunity for someone to see them play against some of the top teams and say, you know what, we'll come and take him, and we'll give him an opportunity to play and further his career in the Premier League.
Just quickly back to Arsenal, we saw Aaron Ramsey getting emotional there, Petr Cech, who's retiring at the end of the season. Danny Welbeck living out.
Every day you think, wow, what a player, you know, a lot of ability, strong, great touch. And he's always been one of those, I must admit, that I get frustrated. When I watch him, I think you can offer so much more, you've got so much more to give. And he's never quite had a consistent run of games. And obviously injury has played its part. He'll be sad to leave Arsenal as well.
And sometimes a fresh challenge and hopefully bring a new bit of luck for a player in that situation.
Well, first and foremost, Danny's going to have to prove his fitness to someone, isn't he? Someone to want to take him, and hopefully he can stay fit. He's very versatile. He can play right across the front line. You know, always gives his all. Probably doesn't score as many goals as what he's capable of doing. But hopefully for Danny, he gets himself fit and finds a club what suit him. I'm sure there's a lot of Premier League clubs who would take him.
OK, much more reaction from the Emirates to come on a day when Arsenal have missed out on the Champions League. Manchester United have as well. It's Chelsea and Spurs who finish in the top four. Disappointing in 4 points in the last 18 for Arsenal. But do you feel even to get to this stage, for them to be with a shout in their league position is something many people didn't expect of Arsenal?
Yeah, I really do. I think at the beginning of the season, if you said they would have been this close to getting the top four in their league position, I'd have been very surprised. So I think you have to give them credit. There's some foundations where he can work from. They definitely need strengthening. Of course they do. He realises that. He's not stupid. Very experienced manager. And they've still got an outside chance. Listen, they can win Europa League. We know he's a serial winner of that competition. They can win it, and then they qualify for the Champions League.
And if they were to do that, Michael, it'd be his fourth Europa League. It'd be Arsenal's first European trophy in a long time, something Arsene Wenger didn't deliver in all his time. Champions League football and a trophy, a major European trophy in his first season?
Oh, Arsenal fans would snap your hand off with that. I mean, to qualify, if you said to Arsenal fans, you're going to qualify for the Champions League and you're going to win a trophy, any trophy, but the Europa League, they'd definitely take that. They're not stupid. They know that Liverpool, Man City are way, way ahead of them. Chelsea, Tottenham are ahead of them as well. And of course, it's Manchester United and Arsenal sort of fifth and sixth best, as the league says at the moment. So, yeah, if they won that, then it'd turn out to be a fantastic season for them.
And they've got to make sure that today and this disappointment doesn't affect them in Thursday's semi-final, and then hopefully, as far as they're concerned, a final.
I'm sure they will. I think the gauge always for me is the league position. Where the team finishes in the league is where they should finish and where they deserve to finish over 38 games. And Arsenal are probably ahead of time. In my opinion, I thought they would finish 6th, 7th, around that. It looks like they might do a little bit better than that. And to, like Michael said, to be in Europa League, we've got a foot in the final. Still got a lot of work to do over there. But I think they're capable of doing it. And I think they'll play Chelsea in the final. Now, if you had a head-to-head Chelsea and Arsenal, I would favour Chelsea.
Say that happened. Say they lost the final. Has he still improved Arsenal as a club in the situation in which he inherited when Arsene Wenger left?
Probably, yeah. I think he probably has. I mean, it was numerous years of frustration, I think, in the last few years of Arsene Wenger's reign. And it's going to take a lot of time, I think, to rebuild all of that. Now, he's also had the problem of the likes of, Sanchez leaving and Ozil and Ramsey. That whole problem, I think, at the time was a big issue.
Distraction?
A big distraction as well. Losing their best player to Manchester United, for one, and not getting the money that they should have was a real kick in the teeth. Then, secondly, they were right on the back foot with the Ozil situation. Because they've let go of the best player, they probably had to keep the second best player. They've paid way, way, way too much to keep him. Then that's created a little bit of unrest. Then, of course, Ramsey's asking for the same money as Ozil, and he's then been let go. When a player like that, you should never really be letting go, never be getting down to the end of his contract. So, he inherited all those little problems as well. So they seem as if they've sort of sorted themselves out now, and now I think he can start building. But yeah, I think it's a positive start to his Arsenal career.
And in terms of what he might need going forward to win the Europa League and have Champions League money and Champions League football to offer to potential players, could be crucial in how quickly they make giant strides, couldn't it?
Yeah, I think it's going to take time. I know it's not going to be overnight. He's obviously lost Sven Mislintat as well, who was the sporting director there. They're going to have to find someone who's going to be head of their recruitment. I'm sure if they trust Unai Emery, they're going to let him bring that man in. Someone who's the eyes for him to go out and find. I don't think it's always, I say it many, many times on here, it's not always about how much you spend, it's about what you spend it on. Someone's got to fit in. Now, to improve what they have at the moment, central defence, I would suggest won't cost you too much money.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't think they're good enough.
£75 million.
Well, they're not good enough, Steve. The defenders they've got are so bad that I don't think you're going to have to look far. For instance, and I said at the top of the show, Duffy, Dunk improves them straight away for not a lot of money and gettable, realistic. You go to Brighton and say, there's 50 million for the pair of your centre-backs. The money what you have to pay them would fit easily into Arsenal's budget. Arsenal straight away would be improved next season. They got two guys there who love defending, who want to defend. First and foremost, not interested in self-indulgence, how good they're going to look themselves. These two guys slapping hands all game, celebrating, blocking, putting their bodies on a line, heading things off the line, making tackles. They celebrate that. They love defending. That is what Arsenal miss. Get that foundation, get that solid base. You've got the players up the top end of the field who can hurt any team in the Premier League. You're halfway there. So that's just an example. There's other guys out there who are capable of improving what Arsenal have at the moment, because what they have at the moment is well below par for an Arsenal Football Club.
Is that critical? Is that the critical decision what Tim's talking about? Because Socrates, Mustafi, there have been Kolasinac, there have been defenders recruited, but everyone talks about the same old problem.
Yeah, and I think you've got to be realistic in where you're looking though as well, and that's the sad reality of Arsenal at the moment.
Yeah.
You look at some players that are maybe on the market, someone like De Ligt at Ajax. Well, there's not a chance in a million years he'll go to Arsenal. He's looking at the Barcelonas, the Real Madrids or teams like that, Liverpool's, Man City's. They're the sort of teams that the best players are wanting to go to at the moment. So you've got to look down below that, and as Tim says, maybe it's not the amount that you spend, maybe it's finding the next gem, the next youngster, or maybe even going the other end of the scale, an experienced player, whatever it might be, that anything can really improve that central defensive area at the moment for Arsenal. So it's going to take a little bit of scouting out there, and but I'm sure that Emery knows what he's doing. I'm sure the defence will be the priority for him.
Well, I'll tell you what.